Hi, my name is Jerry Peter, and I'm an accounting major at Southeastern. Something that interests me is researching, studying, and understanding the economy. Everyone has heard the word recession before, but most people don't know the true meaning of the word. According to Investopedia, recession is defined as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy and lasting more than a few months. Everyone knows the state our economy is in right now, but what most people do not know is how bad things really are. In this speech, I'll explain the driving forces behind our current recession, and I'll also discuss what the government and us individually need to do in order to escape the recession unharmed. My goal for this speech is to inform the audience of the reasons of our current recession and explain how we can get out of it with the least amount of damage done as possible. There are three primary things that caused our current recession. The first one is banks overlending on home mortgages. Brian Domitrovic of Forbes.com states to mistake credit default swaps, subprime mortgages, easy loan approvable, and all the rest with the fundamentals of crisis is to fail. Basically what happened is about 7 years ago, banks began loaning out a lot more money than they should have to people who really weren't qualified in the first place. So whenever it came time to repay the loans on their mortgages, they began defaulting. This caused the housing market to crash. The second thing that aided in our current recession is government bailouts. In the beginning, the government began bailing out banks and other companies. Basically, companies and banks began to go under, and the government created stimulus packages that bailed them out rather than just letting them go bankrupt. By pumping more money into our system, the value of the dollar decreased, and at this time the prices of goods and services were increasing. This is known as inflation. According to Investopedia, inflation is the primary driving force behind recessions. With the inflation happening, consumers could no longer afford what they once could. The final thing that caused our recession is the lack of jobs, better known to economists as the unemployment rate. With inflation occurring, companies weren't making the money they once were, or the money wasn't worth as much anymore. A lot of companies began to let workers go because they couldn't afford to pay them, and this caused the unemployment rate to rise. The reason the unemployment rate is still high today is because no new businesses are being created. The economy is so poor that no one's fishing out thousands of dollars in order to build new businesses, and new businesses create new jobs. Now that you know the reasons for our current recession, I'll explain what the government needs to do to get us out of the recession. According to John T. Harvey of Forbes.com, the quick solution is simple: a massive increase in deficit spending. He states that if the private sector produces more goods, more jobs would be created because entrepreneurs would be making more money and could afford to pay them more. Now that you know what the government needs to do to get us out of the recession, I'll inform you on what you could do personally to help yourself escape the recession. First thing you should do is to formulate a budget. Basically, you want to mark down your income and your expenses and formulate a budget, and always stick to your budget, never exceed your budget. After creating your budget, you may, or actually you should, notice a little bit of excess money left over. You want to take any excess money that you have and stick it into a savings account. Next, you should protect your job. According to Rob Berger in Financial News Money Management, keeping your job should be the #1 priority. This may mean putting a few extra hours in at work, working a little harder, and improving your skill set. The final thing you should do is reduce your expenses. You can do this by paying off any bad debts that you owe and by not buying unnecessary items on credit. Without the help of our government, our economy will basically continue to struggle. The good news is that by using the tips that I've given you, you will be able to escape the recession personally, and you will be able to weather this economic storm and come out on top. As you have learned, many things caused our current recession. One thing led to another and a domino effect began. I hope this speech has taught you a lot about our current economic situation and informed you on how to personally battle it. Using what I've taught you will help you come out on top this recession. I believe it will also help you in future recessions. Thank you for your time.